Hello friends, how are you? Hope you are all healthy and happy. Have you ever wondered about Dornier Do 335? Today we're diving deep into this topic. The Dornier Do 335 was a bomber hunter. The Dornier Do 335, nicknamed Pfeil Arrow, stood out for its unique push-pull configuration. This innovative design featured two engines mounted along the centerline, with one forward and one aft, providing a distinct advantage over conventional single-engine fighters of the time. This arrangement allowed the Do 335 to achieve higher speeds and provided better power efficiency, setting it apart from its contemporaries. The design deviated significantly from fighters of the time, primarily due to its push-pull engine configuration. This arrangement incorporated one engine in the nose and one in the rear of the fuselage, each driving its own propeller. The forward engine drove a conventional tractor propeller, while the rear engine, located behind the cockpit, drove a pusher propeller in the tail via an extended drive shaft that passed through the fuselage. This configuration effectively eliminated the torque and gyroscopic effects common to single-engine fighters, resulting in excellent handling characteristics. Aerodynamically, the Do 335 was a step ahead with its sleek, streamlined fuselage that reduced drag and increased speed. The structure was a combination of a metal frame with a fabric-covered rear fuselage and wooden wing panels. Its tricycle landing gear, a relatively uncommon feature at the time, allowed for better ground handling and visibility during takeoff and landing. In terms of performance, the Do 335 was nothing short of extraordinary. Powered by two Daimler-Benz DB603A engines, each capable of producing up to 1,750 horsepower, the Do 335 achieved a top speed that surpassed almost any other piston-engined fighter of the time. It could reach an altitude of 26,250 feet in just under 15 minutes, and had a top speed of about 474 mph 763 km/h, which was remarkable for a piston-engined aircraft. For armament, the Do 335 was fully armed, with a 30mm Mk103 cannon mounted on the forward engine propeller hub, and two 15mm G151/15 cannon mounted on the wings. This made it a formidable opponent in air-to-air combat. In addition, it could carry up to 1,000 kg of bombs, increasing its versatility as a fast attack bomber. The operational history of the Do 335 is limited due to its late introduction during the war. The German Luftwaffe received the first production aircraft only in late 1944. By the end of the war, fewer than 40 of these aircraft had been completed, including prototypes, pre-production, and production units. They were tested in a variety of roles, from high-altitude reconnaissance missions to ground attack. However, the Do 335's full potential was never realized in combat as the war conditions rapidly deteriorated for Germany. After the war, Allied forces evaluated captured Do 335s, noting their advanced design and performance characteristics. Despite its limited use, the Do 335 influenced post-war aircraft design, particularly in the exploration of push-pull configurations and advanced aerodynamics. By late 1944, the Luftwaffe was in dire straits, with dwindling resources and mounting losses. Amid these challenges, the Do 335 was put into limited production, with around 37 built, including pre-production models. Only a handful of these aircraft reached operational service. One of the few units actively testing the Do 335 was Übungskommando 335, a special evaluation squadron based at Rechlin, the Luftwaffe's main testing facility. The Do 335's primary operational use during the war included conducting several reconnaissance and test missions. Given its speed, which allowed it to outrun any Allied fighter, the Do 335 was well suited for fast reconnaissance. It also served as an interceptor. However, the chaotic situation at the end of the war and the limited number of aircraft available prevented significant combat deployment. many planned missions were cancelled due to mechanical problems or the rapid advance of Allied ground forces. Pfeil never engaged Allied fighters, although designed as a high-speed interceptor. There are no documented instances of the Do-335 engaging enemy aircraft in air combat. Its missions were predominantly focused on high-speed test flights, and there are anecdotal references to its involvement in interception missions against Allied bomber formations. However, the exact details of these missions are not well recorded, and it appears the Do-335 did not achieve any confirmed air-to-air victories. In addition to the standard fighter and reconnaissance roles, there were attempts to utilize the Do-335 in a ground attack capacity. The aircraft's ability to carry a significant payload made it suitable for such missions, but again, these efforts did not materialize into significant operational use due to the end of the war. Allied capture. The impending defeat of Germany led to the capture of several Do-335s by Allied forces. Notably, American, British, and French technical squads were keen to study the advanced technology of the Do-335. After a thorough evaluation, including flight tests by Allied pilots, the aircraft were recognized for their advanced design and performance, although they also noted some reliability issues with the complex engine setup. In most aircraft, the pilot's ejection path is clear of obstructions. However, in the Do-335, the rear-mounted engine and its associated propeller presented a potentially lethal hazard for a traditional bailout procedure. To mitigate this risk, the aircraft incorporated an innovative and complex ejection system. This system integrated several components to ensure pilot safety during ejection. Primarily, it employed an explosive bolt mechanism that would first jettison the rear propeller. Activating the ejection sequence would detonate these bolts, releasing the propeller blades and thus clearing the path behind the cockpit. Following the detachment of the rear propeller, the pilot could then safely eject upwards and out of the aircraft without the risk of striking the still spinning propeller. The ejection seat itself was a conventional design for the era, but was adapted to include an additional set of explosive charges that would blow the canopy clear off the aircraft just before the seat was ejected. This sequence of events had to be perfectly timed to ensure that the propeller was clear, the canopy was no longer in place, and the seat could then propel the pilot upward to safety. The development and implementation of this ejection system underscored the innovative but complex nature of the Do-335's design. Such a system was necessary due to the aircraft's unique layout and operational requirements, and while it added safety features that were cutting edge at the time, it also introduced additional mechanical and procedural complexities. Testing and perfecting this ejection system under combat conditions would have been challenging, and the system's reliability was critical for the pilot's survival during an emergency. While innovative and advanced for its time, faced several design challenges and limitations that hindered its effectiveness and operational potential. One of the primary drawbacks of the Do-335's design was its complexity, particularly the push-pull engine configuration. This setup, while beneficial for reducing aerodynamic drag and improving speed, made the aircraft mechanically complicated. Maintenance and repairs were more difficult and time-consuming than on more traditional single-engine aircraft, which could be a significant disadvantage in the fast-paced environment of wartime operations. Another significant issue was the cooling system for the rear engine. Placing an engine in the rear required an intricate system of ducts to ensure adequate airflow for cooling. This arrangement was prone to problems, especially in combat scenarios where damage could easily compromise the cooling system, leading to engine overheating and potential failure. The aircraft's weight also contributed to its challenges. The Do-335 was heavier than many contemporary fighters, largely due to its twin-engine configuration and the robust framing needed to support it. This weight impacted its agility, making it less maneuverable than lighter single-engine fighters, which could be a critical disadvantage in dogfights. Visibility from the cockpit was another concern. The rear engine's placement and the aircraft's wide fuselage obstructed the pilot's rearward view, which is a critical aspect during aerial combat and landing approaches. The Dornier Do 335 was never put into larger-scale production due to a combination of factors stemming from both its late development during World War II and external wartime conditions impacting Germany. One of the primary reasons was the timing of its introduction. By the time the Do 335 was ready for potential mass production, Germany was facing significant resource shortages and strategic challenges. Moreover, the complexity of the Do 335's design contributed to its limited production. Its innovative push-pull configuration, while offering notable advantages in speed and power, required sophisticated manufacturing processes that were not only time-consuming but also more expensive compared to simpler, more established aircraft designs. This complexity made it less attractive in a wartime scenario where speed and volume of production were crucial. Additionally, the Luftwaffe had begun to shift its priorities towards jet-powered aircraft by the time the Do 335 was being evaluated for mass production. Jet technology promised greater advancements in speed and performance that were seen as more crucial for countering Allied air superiority. This shift in focus resulted in resources being reallocated away from propeller-driven designs like the Do 335 to more revolutionary jet fighters, such as the Messerschmitt Me 262. Lastly, the overall deteriorating war situation for Germany reduced the feasibility of introducing new aircraft types into large-scale production. With the war drawing to a close and Germany increasingly on the defensive, there was little opportunity to integrate and utilize a new aircraft type effectively within the remaining timeframe.